Good morning and welcome. It's Karen here from Make Me Pretty Upcycling and I'm based in Christchurch, New Zealand. Today I'm going to be working on varnishing. So I thought I'd just show you some of the varnishes I like using and pass on a few tips and tricks. So first of all, if you're doing chalk paint, then my absolute go-to is this Rust-Oleum matte varnish that's particularly made for chalk paint. My thinking is, if you've got a matte paint, why would you want to make it glossy or semi-gloss? Some people do, but if I'm going for that look, I tend to run it all the way through by using this. This is a water-based one, so very simple and easy to use. My go-to at present, my preferred, if I'm not using chalk paint, is satin, and I use this on all my mineral paint. So this is one of the range of Carts Mille Satin that I stock, and this is their satin top coat, so I'll be using that in the video. The other one I absolutely love is polyacrylic Minwax, and again it's water-based, so you don't have that issue with yellowing that you sometimes get, and this is in gloss. So I use this on top of wood or mineral paint. The other tip I'd give you is if you're painting anything that's in white, then decant the varnish that you need into a little container and add a tiny daub of white to it, and that makes the varnish go on so much easier and it gives you a beautiful finish. So that's that one. Another one I've experimented recently with is the Dixie Belle Gator Height, and I've read a lot about this and about how strong it is, but price-wise I didn't find it economic. But I did buy this lovely little applicator sponge, a round blue sponge for putting it on, which was fine for smaller areas, but no good for a tabletop or anything like that. So when it comes to putting my varnish on, because it's water-based, if it's a really big item like a kitchen table, that sort of item, I will use a speed brush. But for smaller items, I buy these little foam brushes for about $3 at Mitre 10 or Bunnings, and they leave no brush marks, which is why I love them. Okay, and then my other trick is to use a tack cloth, so I'll just show you what a tack cloth looks like. So this is it here. It's like a muslin cloth, but it's been impregnated with some sort of wax. Smells absolutely divine. And the minute prior to varnishing, I will always give the what I'm doing a rub down. So I've just done that before I started, but I'll show you how you use the tack cloth. You sort of shake it out and scrunch it up into a ball and then wipe. And it gets rid of what I call invisible dust, which can ruin the look of something. So when I finish this video, I'll take this outside, give it a really thorough shake, get any dust out of it, and then put it back in a plastic baggie, just to keep it dust free. So let's make a start with the varnishing. So as I said, I'm going to use the Carts Mille Satin. This is a coffee table, so I want it to have a bit of protection. With varnish, never agitate, never shake your tin or pottle up and down. You don't want to have bubbles in your varnish, it will ruin the finish. So I'm just giving it a very gentle stir. Most varnishes, I don't know if you can see, this is, it looks almost white, but it dries clear, and you just need to stir that to get all the good things mixed in. So I'm just going to pour some of this into this little paper thing. And away we go. So when I'm varnishing, I don't want to get dribbles all down the side of things. So you'll notice when I start varnishing that I won't start right on the very edge. I'll start a little bit in and then I'll go to the edge. And that way I have less issues with dribbles. So we'll get this whole bit done. I'm going to keep the video running while I do this so you can see how fast it is. These brushes are very, very good. The trick with varnish is not to go over and over the bit you've just done, because it does dry very fast and you can start pulling it up if you go over and over. So I won't go over that bit again. And on to here. And I'll just use a smaller brush to go around the edges so it has the same look as the top. So again, I didn't put it right on the edge because I don't really want a whole lot of dribbles. Okay. The reason I always decant my varnish is you can contaminate it, especially if you're putting on top of chalk paint. you will pick up the chalk and change the colour of your varnish, and that's the last thing you want. So believe it or not, that's the top done. It was that quick. Now if I didn't get everything the first time, I never stressed because I always put more than one coat of varnish on. And now I'm just using the smaller brush to do the edges. So varnishing, I always put 2 or 3 coats on. I never just put one. And if I'm at all not happy with the finish, I will sand it with a very, very, very low grit sandpaper, up in the 300s. Sometimes you'll read online and they say use a 180 or something like that, but I always use a really high grit so I can get the smoothest finish possible. So there we go. So I hope you're a little bit more informed now on the intricacies of varnishing. And remember, it's an alternative to wax and it's harder wearing. So that's why I use it, especially on tabletops and things that are going to get a lot of use. So that's me signing out, and happy upcycling.